Today we are going to take a question table where dates and values are spread across multiple columns and transform it into a clean result table with just two columns, date and value. I'll show you two approaches and I'll explain exactly what I am thinking at each step, so you understand not just what to do, but why we do it. Let's use Power Query. Data from table range. My first thought is to look at the structure of the table. I see the rows come in pairs, a date row and a value row. Let's create a new step. We will use Table.Split function that lets us break the table into smaller chunks, each containing just two rows. Now each chunk can be handled individually, which makes the next step easier. We can use List.Transform function to modify our nested tables. Each chunk still has two rows side by side, but I want them stacked as columns. Using Table.Transpose, I flip the table so that rows become columns. After this step, each mini table has a single date column and a single value column. We can rename the columns to date and value to make it clear what each column represents. Consistent naming is important because later steps in Power Query rely on column names very often. Finally, I use Table Combine to merge all the mini tables into a single long table. The result is a clean, stacked table with date and value columns. This method works very well if the table always comes in neat, predictable two-row pairs. Now, this first method is fine for small tables. But what if the number of columns isn't fixed, or the table grows over time? We may need a more flexible approach that doesn't rely on splitting into fixed pairs. Now I start by converting all table columns into lists with Table2Columns function. Then I combine these lists into one long sequence using List.Combine. Now the data is a single stream, date value, one after the other. The next step is to separate dates from values. Using List.Alternate function, I can take every odd element to create the date column and every even element to create the value column. The arguments are 1, 1, 1 for the dates and 1, 1 for values. This works because the data follows a consistent pattern, and it avoids splitting the table into fixed chunks. Then I need to rebuild the table from the two lists with table from columns, giving it the column names, date and value. The last step is to sort by date to ensure the table is in chronological order. If you ask me, the first method with split and transpose is simple, readable and works well when the table is small and structured. The second method, List.Alternate, is more flexible and scalable, and it's a bit safer for larger or changing tables. Both methods achieve the same result, but the choice depends on your dataset. Have you ever used one of those? Let me know in the comments. See ya!